Sorry, I'm feeling a bit goofy right now. Hey everyone, Josh Stein here from the School of Circling Wizardry, circlingwizardry.com. This is part 2, or maybe even consider it part 3, of my videos about my map of different circling styles. So if you haven't seen parts 1 and 2, if you haven't seen the map of circling styles, especially that first video, please have a look at that first. That'll have the rest of this make a lot more sense. In the last video, I went into a little bit more depth about one of the dimensions on that map, which I call the dimension of participation, where we look at the aspects of curiosity, inquiry, and revealing, transparency, and the promises and perils of those two different dimensions. In this video, I'm going to talk about the dimension of facilitation. And in facilitation, I see two different directions or aspects. One is active facilitation and the other is receptive facilitation. These are not mutually exclusive. You can be active and receptive at the same time. You can be you can flow in and out of active and receptive. So I'm going to give you sort of the benefits of both directions, and then I'm going to talk about the perils, the risk of what happens if you go too far in one direction or the other. Okay, so active and receptive facilitation. So active facilitation. So in active facilitation, I'm more active. As a facilitator, I'm probably, but not always, I'm probably speaking more. I'm more attentive to the group and to the person I'm circling. I'm directing attention. So I'm taking some responsibility. And I believe this, I'll backtrack a little to say, I believe the role of the facilitator, and I got this idea from one of my teachers and colleagues, Robert McNaughton, co-founder of the former Integral Center, and where I was trained originally in circling at T3. Robert said that the role of the facilitator is to be responsible, is to set the context of the circle and to be responsible for helping everyone participate in that context. So in active aspects of my facilitation, I might be helping people make sure that everyone's actually, playing the game that we said we were going to play, like that we're actually circling and not doing T group or not just getting into a conversation. Like I'm attentive, like does everyone seem to be on the same page? Does everyone seem to be understanding? Does everyone seem to be actually be doing the thing that we said we were going to do? Is anyone having difficulty owning their experience? Can I offer a little bit of coaching here and there? And directing the attention, recognizing that where my attention goes as the facilitator, because there's a little bit of a power dynamic, other people are naturally going to be drawn to where my attention is going. And then, in the participation can be part of my active facilitation, and bringing curiosity and reflection, or in revealing my own experience, or revealing maybe what I'm aware of more in the group. And there are other things that I can be doing with active facilitation. That was more describing it than actually giving the benefits and perils. So what's good about active facilitation in my mind? It's clear. It's very clear what's happening when a facilitator is very active. There's a way in which, as a participant, I can relax more fully. I can surrender more fully into the space and just let myself, there's no confusion about what am I doing, what am I supposed to be doing, what's my role, what's happening in the group, because there's someone who's taking responsibility, holding that awareness for me, and it's going to sort of help me if I get lost. And it's also active facilitation, the energy is a little bit more contained. That can create some safety, that can create focus, that can create more opportunities for awareness and insight, in terms of like the facilitator being like, oh, what happened there? How did that impact you? Oh, what was that like? And really making sure that the things that are said need to get said, etc. So it can create a lot of focus, a lot of room for insight, a lot of room for awareness in a particular direction. It can help us if we have it can help us bring more energy and intentionality into the circle, and we're less likely to get lost. The perils of active facilitation is being a little bit so contained energetically, so focused that it becomes restrictive. And I'm sure a lot of you have experienced this, where the facilitator is so focused on doing it the right way, or they're so focused on their agenda of where they want to get to, that one, they lose connection and presence with themselves and with the group, but two, it can actually stifle the natural energy and flow. I'm sounding a little bit esoteric now, but there is a certain aspect of flow state and emergence in circling where, while we like to think that we can control the outcome and make cool insights and catharsis and all that stuff happen, really what I've realized as a facilitator is that my job is to hold the container. My job is not to force it to happen. It's like a flower. If you can't pull the petals open, you'll just ruin the flower. So in the same way, being too active, too focused can really stifle the energy, and it can end up feeling really flat, really tight, and I find the more that I try and strive for a particular outcome, if I have an agenda as a circler, the less likely that outcome is actually going to happen. So it's more likely to be disappointing. On the other direction, in the other direction is receptivity. Again, these are not mutually exclusive. As a facilitator, I want to be both active in some ways and directive, penetrative even. In other ways, I want to be receptive. I want to be holding. So in receptive facilitation, I'm more back, I'm more open. Instead of more contained, I'm more open. And I'm aware of the group, and there's more of an allowing of what's happening. There's more of a trusting what's happening. There's a calmness that can happen. And I think the group can feel that. I think that can create some safety as well. If you've noticed, all these different 4 aspects, they can all create safety, and they can also, too far in the other direction, they can actually take away from safety. Receptive facilitation gives a lot of permission for participants to learn through practicing themselves. It gives them a lot of space to what we call fumble fucking our way through it. That's the expression I got from my teacher, Alexis Shepard, way back when. To fumble fuck our way through it. The receptive facilitator just gives a lot of, because I see circling as a practice, as a place to us, it's a gym that we go to work our relational muscles. More receptive facilitation gives the participants more of an opportunity to take little risks, to practice in different ways, to make mistakes. And that can be really rich. And that trusting can allow things that would normally be controlled or managed away, there wouldn't be space for them, can allow emergent things to come through. And that's where there can be a lot of magic actually in circling, is when there is a surrendering, a letting go of control and seeing what actually wants to happen. The peril of going too far in the direction of receptive facilitation is that in the same way that active facilitation can have me lose contact with myself and the group, receptive facilitation, I can become so dissociated, so allowing, that I'm no longer actually here. So far back that I'm allowing anything to happen, and then we're no longer actually doing what we said we were going to do. It starts to become a different experience. It becomes a conversation. It becomes a dramatic kind of re-wounding, re-traumatizing. I think people get into their coping patterns because there's no one like holding the greater container. It can become chaotic. It can become really confusing. It can become dissociating and overwhelming. It can lose focus, and when there's no focus, it can, the energy can actually go flat as well. from there being a lack of focus, because it just kind of dissipates because it's going in all sorts of different directions. Let's see how long that took. 10 minutes. So I obviously have a lot to say about both sides of that. I noticed myself getting a little bit dissociated, a little bit overwhelmed even from just imagining being in that state of the facilitator is too far receptive, or being with a facilitator who's so far receptive they've lost contact with the intention of what we're doing, or the context, or even just with the group, and things can kind of get out of control. And then we're not really circling either. So again, there's a sweet spot in the middle. There is, and not just a sweet spot, but there's a territory, there's a whole domain in which you can dance. If you are more comfortable in your receptivity as a facilitator, you could practice becoming more active. If you're more comfortable being active, you can practice letting go a little bit and allowing more, and finding where you're most comfortable, but also finding where you like to play and dance and do one at sometimes and do the other at other times, and see for yourself what you like about either direction, and what you don't, and what works for you in your particular flavor, your particular style. So that is the aspect of facilitation, and that for now, I think I've said a lot. That for now is all I have to say, to go a little bit more in depth about this map of the different circling styles in aspects of participation, curiosity, and revealing, and aspects of facilitation, active and receptive, excuse me. If you had any insights from this, if there's anything you disagree with or agree with, if you were impacted in a particular way, if it made you think of something, I would love to hear it. If you have a question that came out of this that maybe you'd like to see a video made about, or maybe you don't want to see a video made about it, that's okay too. You can tell me, although no promises. I would love it if you share it in the comments, or you can send me an email, josh@circlingwizardry.com. I think that's all I have to say about that. If you want to see more of these videos, hit subscribe. If you're on YouTube, hit subscribe, hit the little bell icon, and you'll be notified. If you want to be notified, you can also sign up for, I didn't say this in the last video, but you can sign up for my email list and to my Facebook group to be notified about more videos, events that I'm running, programs that I'm running, different ways that you can experience my perspective and what I have to offer with circling and the art of, connecting with other human beings. Okay, so that's it. Thank you very much for watching through these videos. I look forward to reading your comments. Please share if you are inspired to do so. And you will, I guess, see me at the next video that I make. I was going to say I'll see you soon, but I don't actually see you. I'm just looking at my own face. Okay. Goodbye.